Good morning, everyone. EagleX here from ATX EagleX Gaming here today with today's MarketWatch for the 29th. Sorry guys, I've been a little absent lately from the channel. I've been really slammed with my full-time job. In addition to that, doing the tournaments this last weekend and tournaments this weekend. It's just going to keep me busy. But if you guys enjoy this content, I really do appreciate if you like, comment, subscribe, stay up to date with the latest videos. I will have my newsletter coming out here this weekend, ideally on Sunday. I'll be announcing giveaway winner. If you guys haven't seen it, check out the video. I'm giving away free packs to people who make comments on the video and are subscribed. But also, if you guys haven't seen, go ahead and hop on in the description. I have a link to my Discord. This is where I like to talk to people in the community, and we have discussion about different things in the upcoming sets, and we get to talk about cards in general from market, not just from like a market watch, but a fan-based perspective as well. Anyways, that being said, let's get ahead and get started with the market watch. So we can look at the bottom here for sealed product, and we see the classic collection booster boxes are roughly 45 bucks a box, which is nothing new. It's really cheap. But if we get to the top in here, 1.0 guys, it's $160 per box plus shipping for this person. But holy cow, these things are going up fast. And it's like the first set of Digimon. So like it makes sense that the oldest, most out-of-print set is the most expensive one. If you guys have been investing in it, this is a good time to consider taking a payoff for your investment, you know? And then Double Diamond, it's going to be a great longevity set. It has the 1-year anniversary packs. On top of that, it has a chance of pulling a Ghost Omni. Not to mention, the secrets are very good right now for this upcoming set or future sets. Because we have the Alphamon, and then the other Seeker for Double Diamond, if I recall correctly, I want to say it is Starmon. And she has lots of future application. Yeah. Starmon. Not to mention, like, a lot of these alt arts are really sick looking. Like, you got Dynasmon, which is solid right now. The Bonds, they're not as playable now, but they're beautiful. Jesmon's great with the new starter deck. Anyways, but that's just sealed product as a whole. Now, to show you what I'm really looking at investing in this week, if I were to put money on the table, I'd be picking up Alt-Art Green Memory Boost and Omnimon X Antibodies. Now, let me go ahead and just show you real quickly. If you guys haven't seen, every week I update this inventory. This is stuff I buy every week if I were to buy stuff. I do have a lot of cards moving around in my personal inventory, but this is what I'm looking at. And for my portfolio, these are the cards I have, their quantities, their market values as of last I checked, and then the values of them based on the quantities. So you can see my inventory is valued at $153.50. And like the overall value, yes, it's $192, but you have to remember, like every week, I lose $5 in sales tax. The fact that I've made up that sales tax already in value, it's pretty solid. And I'm trying to show you guys what I do when I buy and sell cards. But anyways, moving on to the cards I'm looking at, and as a whole. First of all, EX1, we talked about it. Like, everyone knows the high roll, high chase cards, Analog Youth, Machine Dramon, and Metal Greymon now. And the Greymon line just as a whole, I should say. The Gabas, the Diaboras, the Imperials, the Agas, like, it all makes sense. Those are fan favorites, and they're actually pretty playable for the most part. And we just keep looking through a bunch of them. Like, the Ogremon does look nice. But one thing that just is definitely an anomaly that one of my friends pointed out to me this week, shout out to Izzy for showing this to me. You guys realize this Gatomon is 14 bucks? Like, it's been going for $5s. Why is it $14? I have zero idea. There's nothing that's like super meta defining that I'm aware of. I think it's just because it's a cool alt art of a fan favorite Digimon. That's my best guess. If you guys have any thoughts, love to hear in the comments below. And I'll go through and pick a random one of you, and I'll send a pack in the mail for people who respond to this question. Anyways, so that was like just kind of miscellaneous, and I got a few other miscellaneous housekeeping things, but we recently had the first Ultimate Cups, so we know that these Demi Vmon eggs, the Vmons, Ex Vmons, Paildramons, and the Imperial trophy cards along with the Omnimon trophy are going to be coming soon. Now, what do you expect to pay for them? Well, I have pulled up the previous events that had similar pricing before, being the Koromon and just the Agumon line as a whole. And so if you're trying to gauge a price, using precedent of a previous market's a great idea. And they had to take some things into consideration, like what makes this one different? What would make that one less desirable, this one more desirable? Right now, the Koromon egg, I would say, is 100% on par with Demi-Vemon. The only difference is Demi-Vemon will be a 4-of in armor decks, or not armor, but Imperial decks. He could be used in armor decks. Meanwhile, Koromon's only used in red-based Black or Gray, which is the more popular version. So I think on par, they're pretty similar. I think the Demi-Vs will be a bit more because they are newer, though, and there's less of them in circulation right now. Then we go to Ex2 comparing to Greymon. This was a weird one. Greymon was only printed for like the first 2 or 3 tournaments, and then they stopped printing him altogether. So if they do the same thing for Ex2, he's going to pop up in price. Not to mention, this is actually a really good card. This is a solid card, too. Like, he is played in red-based War Greymon decks, but this guy just is played in Imperial decks. You just will run him. So I can see him fetching a good price, like in the $300 to $400 range, honestly. We did skip the rookies. Vemon versus Agumon. I think this is just a 1-for-1 comparison. Agu's a longer time fan favorite, if I had to guess. So I think 150 to 200 would be on par for Vemon. He would be new to start out with, so from having less in circulation, 250 is my guess. And then when you get to these higher ones, the Pyildramon, there's no precedent. He's just going to be pricey. Similar with the Imperial, he just will be pricey, like the War Gray. It's just a cool trophy card more than a playable card. Especially when you get to the Omnimons, like you're not going to play with those. So if you're expecting to pick them up, you will be paying a premium. It's probably going to be dealt with DMs. DM me your best offer, you know. Anyways, that's trophies. Let's get to cards that are like more reasonably attainable. So first, we know the Mass State and Imperial starters are coming out soon. We got a little bit of time still to come out to North America. But $20 is steep for it. You can realistically get these guys for like $10 to $15 at like your local game store. So that's why I would pay for these. I wouldn't pay any more. And if you guys need anything from starters, I would seriously consider looking at all the starter decks, cards that are 2-ofs that you might need. Like, if you guys don't have your Hammer Sparks, you don't want to get from the original blue starter. But you do get 4 of them, I guess, so it is something to consider. But you do have cheaper ones in the Old Force one. You only get 2 of those, the downside, but you do get the Vemon. So, like, there's ups and downsides. But I would really look at starter cards you might need. Overall, Gaia Forces, this is the easiest way to get them, is in the Gallimon starter deck as a whole. But this is just something, do a little bit of research on your end for what you need for your collection. I do think it is a super solid thing to look at, though. Next, Memory Boost. Guys, these are amazing long-term investments. Not only are they good to use in the game for a long period of time, but they look nice. The Green Memory Boost is one I think is super underpriced right now. This is a 4-of in Grand Quag decks. So when you get to BT9, Grandest Quagmon is running 4 of these. They look awesome. I'm scooping up extras myself if I can get any extras of these in particular. The other Memory Boosts are playable still. Red ones for Jesmon decks, black ones for X Antibody, and these for both for Black or Gray because he is black and red. The purple one's probably the least playable of them all because you have Grave Recursion rather than deck consistency. But they are all great pickups. And then the 1-year box topper cards, guys, these come in BT6. As you can tell, like $1 for the Phoenix, but then you're averaging $5. And then the high rolls, which is about a third of them, a little over a third, closer to half. Vemon, Upa, Terrier, Angelmon, they're like $20+ cards. And these are things I would be looking out on for the long term. Terriermon being the best long-term one, as there's going to be Terriermon tribal decks in the future, I guarantee you. It's a floodgate, is what we call it, because it blocks memory gain effects. Upa is like the best blue egg generically, then Vemon's great for the time being. Then I kind of want to browse through event pack cards, because I haven't talked about these in a while. If we look at cards that will see play, Yellow Upa sees play in yellow decks. Impmon sees play in the Beelzemon decks, so he's like a 2 to 3 of. Upa is going to be a 4 of whenever it's played. The Agumon's played in red, black, or Greymon decks. He is a really cool looking rookie with the Shattered Glass background. And then in the future, Gabumon X Antibody in like BT9, this will probably be played in more quantities. I think he is like a 2 to 3 of right now for Japan. Greymon, he sees play. Starmons, there's support for Starmon Tribal, but it's nothing that's seen like crazy support since it came out. D-Brigade's a thing. And then we go to page 2. I don't think there's anything super crazy, page 2. Gobley's used in Grandest Quagamon decks. Here's the big one, though. Soundbird. This card actually is used in future BL-Star decks. So if it's something you don't have, pick up for like 10 to 12 bucks is a super solid pickup. So I think this is something to look into of the event pack cards right now. And then now let's talk about the meta. This is like what I like to do a lot. Now pre-sales, I don't recommend pre-sales ever. Unless it's an alt art, that's the only time you really get a big benefit. But if we talk about pre-release stamps, like if you look through them all, I think this Vmon will be the highest dollar pre-release stamp for the newest set. If it's not him, it's going to be the Greymon Egg, which I can't pull up on TCG Player because it's just not out yet, and it's like an uncommon. Most of them aren't on here. But the other thing I think is to look out for is the red option. It's the 6 cost one. I can't remember what it's called right now. But it's removal. It stops special summoning. That's all I'll really talk about for pre-release or pre-sale stuff. Now talk about more of the meta. So first, Davis, guys. If you don't have him, I know we have a reprint coming in a starter deck, but that's in a few months. And you can see Davis is so relevant still. Like, if you just don't have copies, you need to get him because you won't be able to play a consistent blue deck without him. So that's just one thing I'm going to say about Davis. Next, Vmons. They're one of my favorite things to look at. In Imperial, in Armor decks, we're going to be playing Vmons. Jamming Vmon. He's like 13 bucks now. He's going to keep ticking up. We can see he's going up on the trend. And his listings, there's only 28 of them. And there's going to be less and less of them. So like we have 10 here. But give it time, it's going to keep going up in price as people realize you want 4 copies of Vmon in most of your decks. And then you guys see this Melga? Melgaroo. This card's actually a really fun one. He is very popular for Jagras decks. When you get the level 4 out, it makes it easier to Jagras with Chimeramon. And gives you more level 5s. And to Shacomon's the other one that he'll use to recover. So because he spams bodies, he's really good for Jagras by providing the bodies you need. Just a card to keep in mind, and he is like $4 now. So definitely something to keep in mind if you want to look at some other fun decks in the format. Next, I'm going to breeze over this, guys. Like you've seen me talk about Mastamon starter decks. Thankfully right now, Magna Angemons are in a dip. I do believe this is a person with $5 shipping. Yeah, $5 shipping. So they're still like in the $30 range. They're dying off a little bit from the hype of being like 35 a piece. But this is a 4 of. I would try to scoop up 4 copies of this as soon as I can. Lucemon Chaos Mode, he's also been dipping. He's solid like 27 bucks. 29, 30 bucks. I would scoop these up sooner than later also if you want to play the deck. This deck is very paywalled at the moment, especially with defeats being like the top end you run 2 to 3 of for extra tamer hate. But like this is a secret that is really good in the long run of the game, and he will be played for like 100% for sure in a long time. Getting the free level 7 is really solid in security, and deleting Tamers and deleting a Digimon are both super solid effects. Next, Black or Greymon. We all know that Greymons aren't getting their starter deck reprint. They're getting a box topper reprint in BT 10, I believe it was, with the Ghost Alphamon. So you'll have more of a reason to open those boxes. But that being your way of getting a Greymon, it's going to be harder to get. So you either want to order your 2 Greymon singles or get a red starter to get 2 more Greymons. Because I believe they were 45 bucks a pop for a red starter. Get 2 of these for 20 bucks a piece. Spend the 5 extra bucks, get the Gaias, get whatever you need. You get a 1.0 pack or a 1.5 pack depending on the print run. And other Greymons that really see play, it's really just him. The new black-red one. And you can see this one in the red decks also, the BT5 one. Then Nokia is the tamer that I want to keep you guys aware of. This card is going to be played more. And if we look at the graphs, we can see it's seeing upticks. It has a small downtick right now. But supply is drying up really fast. And it's $1.25 here. But after that, guys, it becomes a $2 card. And like I know TCG Low says it's like 75 cents or whatever. Well, you gotta look at shipping too with it. It's like dollar shipping makes this a $2 card. He only has one copy. It's a $2 card. And it's not long until it just keeps upticking, becoming a $3 card. Not too far away. Next, let's talk about Black Decks, X Antibody. Sunarisamon promos. Guys, this is like a really, really good time to pick these up. Stores have been dumping them. You can see like 15 copies. I guarantee you that's a store that did the buy a box promo and they're just selling their copies online. The market's being flooded with them right now, so if you want to buy them, now is the time to get them. Because the price is going to go down, and I would be sniping up a playset if I were you sooner than later, as it is a 3 to 4 of an X Antibody Dex, which is the filter I have on. Next, we have Dorumon. Everyone knows the alt art's pricey. The pre-release is the next max rarity one, which I've been telling you guys. But guys, if you guys remember when I pulled up the Japanese market, how this is like a roughly $4 to $5 single, we're starting to see him going up really fast too. It's not long until he's a $1 card. Yes, we can get like a few play sets a lot more reasonably at cheaper prices. But this card's going to go up awkwardly, like as just a rare from a new set. So if you want to play the set, be ready for X Antibody to either paywall you with the max rarity ones or for the regular staples to become more pricey because everyone wants to play it. Alphamon, the alt art's at a solid pickup range. The regular arts are a fair pickup. I'm not going to talk much about it. The Omnimon X Antibodies, they aren't played a whole lot this upcoming set, but the set after they are played a lot more of. So just something to keep in mind. $14, I think he's a great scoop, especially when you get into BT9. With all the X Antibody decks, he's a great search target. For Black War Greymon, you have a lot of sources. You can use his opponent's turn to negate an attack. So just trash 2 sources, and it's really easy to do. In the upcoming sets. Next, this is Ex2 Mana. There's not really like a whole lot to look out for. Beelzemon's the big guy. Beelzemon's a pricey guy too. He's $40. I think realistically you can snipe these for like $30, $35 from locals and from other stores online. Just give them a little bit of time, but there is a lot of hype for the deck, so the price may be very stable still. I think it should dip realistically though. That's EX2. Then we're talking about BT9. The Jesmon Ragnar Lordmon starter decks just came out. The Jesmon ones are seeing a lot more success. Getting the extra security check from the once per turn is really solid. Getting extra Sistermons, and you just have a lot of great consistency cards and a lot more when you swing now. So just something to keep in mind. If you don't have for any red or blue deck staple, Blitz Omni, this guy's a solid pickup. I've sold, I think, like 24 copies in the past week. So he's actually been going up a bit more than I thought he would. He's a staple. You need him. It's like a 1-2 of lots of those decks. So pick him up if you don't have him. Then we all know Bielstar is becoming the answer to the big single stack swinging meta with X Antibodies. You get the blue base, you get stripping, or you just have ways to remove big bodies. Bielstar is going to go up. And because Bielstar is becoming relevant, Avenge Kid is a solid anti-meta pick. And that price for the stamp reflects that very well, as it's a like $16 stamp and it was like $4 last week. And then Grand Kuagamon, if you want to play Grandest Kuagamon, that's a super strong deck, but that's what Bielstar is kind of built to counter, an OTK deck. Any of the options could remove this. And then this card I want to bring special attention to, Gobrumon Promo 007. He only has one printing, and that is either in a 1.0 or 1.5 box as like one of those topper packs. So this is going to be a card that is most susceptible to spiking unless he gets a reprint. And finally, to wrap things up, guys, the Were Guru promos, these are going up faster and faster. Their printings are niche. You do have a little bit more being entered into the market through the form of the finalist stamped ones for the IRL regionals, but that's really all we'll have to help the price of this card. If you guys enjoyed this Market Watch, please let me know in the comments below. That being said, take care, y'all.